Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is going to be a quick reaction to the Sixers game, and also I'll throw in a couple short reactions on the good game between the Nuggets and Trailblazers. I apologize in advance for that game because the way Score had Enes Kanter as well as other things listed, I didn't think he would play with the shoulder, and then I found out later he was listed as questionable, so I apologize for that. That was a mistake, but it happens. And this is Sports Fact News. I'm Joe Boric. The game got close in the second half. We had a fantastic first half. The only thing we have to fix, like Brett Brown said, is the 20 turnovers, but the fact that you stayed aggressive, played solid defense. I know Kawhi scored 35, but that's like Brett said and other people said on the team. He's just a freak of nature as an athlete, so he's going to get his. He got a lot of his, like the floaters with his hand in it, with a hand in his face, and that's just going to happen with a guy like him. He's a top 3 player in the league, let alone scorer. What Brett Brown said. So that's just going to happen. I see that we played the better defense on them. We stepped up. We forced other people to do well, and that helped. We didn't limit him as much as Tyrone and Mikey Miss and all those people were talking about. We still let him get 35, but he had to get 35 in a lot of those points, way more hard-fought points than the first game. So our overall defense, I would give a much upgrade, letter grade to, and probably say we played like an A- defense yesterday because we had our issues in the second half, which made the game come close, but that's still a very good grade to get. Now, Jimmy Butler as a whole is, of course, the player of the game. He dropped 30 with 11 rebounds and 5 assists for a double-double. He did do as good in the second half, but he really clicked in the first half, but he really clicked in the second half, and that was brilliant to see. He played very well, and that is very nice to see. Tobias didn't do as well, but he got 11 boards, which was huge for us. He got some key boards, so everybody contributed in their own odd way yesterday. Joel Embiid looked sick as hell out there, but he still did what he could do. He scored that key bucket in the end, only shooting 7 shots, which is unnatural for him. But he also grabbed 6 boards and 5 assists, and some of those were key, especially that assist where he somehow saw Jimmy buckets. That was a big play. Ben Simmons was more of a defensive guy yesterday, so he dropped 6 and 7, only shot 6 shots, but he was more in there playing the most minutes, 44 minutes, and then Butler with 43 were in there for defense, and then Jimmy, of course, did well on both ends, where I did like how we used our small guys on certain guys. Yesterday, we used Ben on Kawhi, of course. We used Jimmy on different guys in the game at the time to limit them. And we used Joel on Siakam, which actually did work. He was able to stay with him even with the knee. It worked for the most part. And Tobias Harris, for the most part, worked on Marc Gasol because they didn't feed it down to Marc Gasol and really take advantage of that. Now, they might adjust for Game 3, but then it's on us to adjust a little bit too. But I really like the adjustments we made. And like many said on Twitter, Hoffman, the Sixers, real good Sixers insider, said, you got to give credit to Brett Brown no matter what your take is on Brett Brown for that game. He adjusted. The players adjusted. It was an overall great adjustment game and a great one by then. Greg Monroe and James Ennis did very well off the bench before Monroe had an ankle issue. That was absolutely fantastic to see. Overall, I give that game a very good performance by our Sixers. They held it in the end. They didn't get under pressure since we have those veterans. We didn't have issues like last year in close game where we looked like we were getting a little locked up, and that was fantastic to see. Now, as a quick reaction to Portland and Denver, Denver just went on runs. That game was close. It was pretty much tied at half. Denver went on a big run. Then they never really looked back from not having the lead. Portland just kept pulling it close on Enes Kanter, who was able to play, dropped 26 and had a great game. Damian Lillard always does well with 39, 3 and 6. C.J. McCollum did 16, 4 and 3, so if he scored a little bit more, which is expected, I doubt but he also took a step back for Dame and how Kanter was doing. So he didn't do bad, but him stepping up next game definitely gives them a chance to win and even up that series on the road, just like our Sixers just did. I believe that these are going to be both very good close series in the playoffs between Portland and Denver and us and the Raptors. So I think it's great to see us bounce back even more than most people thought might have been possible from what everybody was saying in fan groups, Twitter. We had some optimistic people, we had some in the middle, and then we had some that were pretty pessimistic. But that's what happens after a first game like that. Then once you see all the adjustments, I'm damn sure we're going to see a lot more people at the lowest in the middle to optimistic after this game. And then we got to come into game 3 on fire and play very well. This has been Sports Fanatic News, a reaction to the Sixers, and a quick one to Portland and Denver. Peace out, everybody.